Alright, this is link 5 and your homework. So let's just go over it together in case having 2 days has definitely been a problem and I wish I could explain in person. So let's just review this together. Alright, remember we're really trying to focus on this strategy so you really see if you get it or not. So let's look at what we have. We have a radius and we're trying to find the area. So the first thing I would ask myself is what formula do we know, or what do we know to find area, and I would write that formula here. And we know area equals pi r squared. Okay, so let's take a look. We now have the radius, so that's 3, so we know pi times 3 squared should give us our answer. So let's do that. 3 squared is 9, so 9 times pi is going to give us 28.27, and our units are inches squared. Alright, let's see, does it make sense? Is it a lot larger than the original number? Is it a squared unit? We squared it. We're good to go. The only change on this one, when we look at this, is remember, think to yourself, well, how is diameter different than radius? Hope you said diameter is double the radius, so we're going to have to half it to be able to use the formula, use the exact same formula. I'll leave that one for you to do. This one right here is the first one that looks a little bit different. These are going forward, so that means this one must be going backwards. So let's give it a go. Let's look at the plan. We need to find the radius. We have the area, so that tells me we actually should have the exact same plan. What's going to be different this time is we have different things. So this first one we had the radius, so we just work forward. This one they have the area, so let's set it up. That's our area, so I wrote it in for A, and we know pi is a constant. We don't know radius, r squared. Probably didn't leave enough room for me to solve in this box. You might need to get some other paper. Alright, I need to get the variable by itself, so first step is to get pi off. It's being multiplied. I'm going to divide by pi on both sides. Again, sorry for so little room. 28.27 divided by pi. Alright, so we've got 8.999. I leave 3 decimals in the middle of solving the problem so it's a little more accurate. Equals r squared. Alright, now think back to Pythagoras. How do we undo a squared? Alright, I hope you have the answer at this point. Take a square root, and you already have square root of 8.999 gives us 2.99, so gives us 3. Okay, now does this make sense? Crazy. I hope you actually see that I did these problems in reverse of each other, so you could actually see that they are the exact same problem. We took 3, we got 28.27. We could round this all the way up. The next number is actually an 8, so I should leave that 2, 3. That's very, very, very close to 3, and we know those are reverse of each other. Okay, do these next 2 problems the exact same way as the one we did here. If you want to text me for the answers or review those, we can do that as well. Alright, well, let's take a look at these word problems. I think the scariest thing about word problems is just they look scary. So let's just read one out loud, highlight the important information, make a plan, solve, look back. Sorry, okay, let's start with number 12. A rotating sprinkler arm in the photo at right, which I removed, sorry, are all 16 meters long. We all know what sprinklers look like being a Nooksack. Okay, so think of those giant circle sprinklers. What is the area of every circular farm? Express your answer in the nearest meter. Alright, so I've got a circular farm. Let's draw a picture. And I know that the arm is 16 meters here, and that rotates around to get everything watered. Okay, so we have the radius then. So this right here is the radius. And we need to find the square meters of the area. Okay, so I'm going to highlight that, so let's use our exact same formula. Area equals pi r squared. So we're going to say area equals pi 16 squared. So let's see, pi 16 squared gives us area equals 804.25 meters squared. And there's your answer. Alright, let's just take a look at this one. This one says we're going to have a radius of 60 kilometers and we're getting areas, so we know how to go from radius to an area. This one here, if I read this one, Samson's dog Cecil is tied to a post by a chain 7 meters long. How much play area does Cecil have? Okay, again, this, if it's tied to a post, it must be the radius. We want the area. Exact same process. Alright, I want to review one of the bottom ones because these are back from the first day of the unit, where we're converting areas to different areas. So let's take a look. Area in inches, and right now all I have is the radius. Let's get the area. So we know area equals pi r squared, so let's plug it in. Pi 8 squared, so 64 times pi gives us an area in inches is 201.06 inches squared. Alright, and we need to get the areas in centimeters, so we expect it to be, let's see here, let me remind myself of the ratio. I know that every inch, oh, sorry, I just did that wrong. Okay, let's look. So we're supposed to find the areas in inches. I have the area in centimeters, so that's right here, 201.06 centimeters squared is what we have right now, because that's in centimeters. This happens when you read the problem too quickly, so my bad. Let's back up. I need to find this. I have centimeters. I just calculated the area using the formula. So now how do we get from centimeters to inches? Now let's think. Which one is bigger or smaller, centimeters or inches? We said centimeters are smaller than inches, so if we're converting to inches, we would expect the overall answer, because inches are larger, to get smaller. Alright, when we solve the ratios, it's really good to write what we want on top, and we know that 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. But this time we have to be really careful because it's an area, so it's 1 inch squared is equal to 2.54 centimeters squared. If you forget to square those, that means you're only converting one side of the ratio, and that doesn't work because area is a two-dimensional. So we need to get 1 squared and 2.54 squared. Okay, so let's solve. So we take our area that we have, 201.06, so that's in centimeters. And we know from our ratio here, since the number's on the bottom, we're going to divide. So I'll just put divide here. 2.54 squared. Alright, so let's do it together. So we've got 201.06 divided by 2.54 squared, and that gives us 31.16. And we now are converted to inches squared. Now sometimes people put a square on this. That's not the case. This is an actual number. The only reason this got squared is because it's a ratio. So it's just the unit that's squared, and this is how many square inches there are. Let's take a look. We expect it to be smaller. It's way smaller. Makes sense. Alright, I'm going to do the perimeter one as well. Okay, so it says we need the okay, let's switch this here. Okay, we need the perimeter millimeters, and let's find what the perimeter is in centimeters. So, we have to remember from before, perimeter equals 2 pi r. Okay? Hope that's what you thought as I went along. So that's the radius times 2 times pi. You could also write pi d. That means this right here, this diameter is 16. 2 times 8 is 16. So let's go 16 times pi. We've got 50.27 centimeters. Okay? Alright, now we expect we're going to move to millimeters. So, let's see here. If we're going to get to millimeters, so let's see here. That has to go on the top of our ratio. Let's write our ratio here. We're trying to get to millimeters. We have centimeters. In 1 centimeter, there are 10 millimeters. So we're going to use that. Let's see. Perimeter, not a squared unit, so we don't square the conversion factor. If we're going to millimeters from centimeters, we expect the number to get larger because there's lots of millimeters in 1 centimeter. So let's set it up. It's on the top, so we multiply 50.27 times 10. So we get 502.7, and our units are millimeters. Not squared because this is a perimeter. Alright, let's check. Does it get larger? We got it to be larger. It makes sense. Alright, that's the homework. Try those other problems I did not do. Ask me questions, text me questions, email, and I will look forward to seeing you on Monday.